Hello and welcome to Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel. My name is Rachel Profit and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a white woman with long red hair that's down today and I'm wearing a white Dynamics 365 t-shirt. Ann, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Ann Krupke. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a senior fast track solution architect at Microsoft. I'm a white woman with brown hair that's in a bun. I'm wearing some over the ear headphones and a green shirt today. And also, I love your Dynamics 365 shirt. Where did you get that?
I got this at a conference. It was the Dynamics Mind conference. So it was sponsored by, if I lean back enough, you can see
Oh,
it, Docentric.
Docentric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So this was a giveaway that they had in their booth at the Dynamics Minds conference last year. And I love this one because it's hard to find t-shirts that just say Dynamics 365 on it or anything like that. So this was a really good find for me at that
Yeah.
conference. But, speaking of conferences, we're kind of getting ramped up and ready for, the fall conferences.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people are registered or not, but
There's
there's
two big conferences coming up in October, right?
yeah. So the first one is the Microsoft Power Platform Conference, which is happening the very first week in October. I think it's like the 5th through the 9th. Might be the 4th
It's
because I think there's like workshops that you can sign up for that are on like Sunday and Monday.
yeah.
Yeah. Is Sunday the 4th or the 5th?
I'm checking right now. I'm grabbing the link to put it up on a banner.
Oh,
It
that's awesome.
is October 3rd through 5th with
There
workshops
you
on the
go.
1st, 2nd, and 6th. So it runs the 1st through the 6th, technically.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I mean there's a pretty amazing lineup of stuff there, including all sorts of stuff that are related to the Power Platform itself and Dynamics 365 more on the customer engagement side of things. So like sales, customer service, marketing, etc. So if you're not signed up for that and you want to learn more about the Power Platform, it's a
Tons
great
of
opportunity
great,
to do that.
definitely. And I think last year there were something like 4 or 5,000 people who attended. So that's
Yeah,
lots and lots of people to connect with. There's going to be awesome
definitely.
speakers there like Charles Lamanna and lots of the other kind of PMs from the Power Platform side at Microsoft, as well as lots
Yeah.
of community speakers as well. So
I think
super
the
cool event.
president or vice president of GitHub is going to be
Power
there
Apps.
too.
Oh, GitHub.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think I saw him as one of the keynote speakers on the list. I don't know
Yeah,
his name.
the CEO of GitHub, Thomas
There you go.
Domke. I've never said his name out loud, so sorry if I butchered that.
No judgment here. I remember reading it like on the site when I was looking around at all the sessions
Yeah.
and stuff. There's some
I
really
see
cool stuff
VP
though.
of Power Apps, Ryan Cunningham, VP of Power Pages, Sonia Singh, VP of Power Automate,
Yeah.
Steven Siciliano, VP of Dataverse, Nirav Shah. So there's lots and lots of VPs of the different products are going to be there, which is super cool.
Yeah. And then like 2 weeks after that is the Dynamics 365 user group summit.
Yes, Summit
And so
NA.
yeah,
And you're actually going to be there this year, right?
I will. I've got quite the lineup of sessions. I think I have six in total, six or seven in total. So
Tell me
there's
about it.
four. Yeah, so there's four different ask me or ask the experts, which will be panels. So all of the wow, I can really speak today. Ask the
Because
experts.
you skipped this last week. That's why.
Yeah. So all of the Ask the Experts panels, there's one specific to finance, one specific to like trade and logistics, one specific to asset management like EAM, and
And
then
production and planning. So it's like all of the modules that are just like manufacturer kind of, well, not just, but
yeah,
so distribution and trade is going to be like WMS, TMS, inventory management, procurement, and then there's a like a production, which would be production planning and EAM.
yeah. And then I think there's a costing one too.
Yes. That
you
one
guys,
was super popular last year, right?
you know how much, like, I love costing. You love, like, we all love costing. Who loves costing? If you're watching and you love costing, we want to hear from you in the comments. Give us a thumbs up or a hashtag we love costing, because we love costing. And if you want
And
to
this
come
is
ask a
probably
question,
a good time to remind you that we did an 8-part Tech Talk series in 2021. No, 2022. Last year, we did an 8-part Tech Talk series all about costing in Dynamics. So check it out and then bring Rachel some stumpers in Charlotte this summit.
well, yeah, I actually love that you just brought up Tech Talks. And I'm
Okay.
gonna take us like off track here for a second. And I don't know, maybe if you want to pull up your screen and we can show people the new experience for Tech Talks, because and we're
Sure.
still working on it and improving it, but the community site moved to a new platform, which, if you didn't know, the new platform, it's super cool. Lots of improvements coming even still, but lots of improvements in it already. But the new community site is all built on Power Pages. So this is like our stuff, like behind the scenes that you see here. But so the new community site, the experience for navigating around is a lot different. And if you want to find Tech Talks, there's a couple different ways to find them. So if we go to like videos up at the top, this is one way you can find them. So they're all in here. You can actually see a Tech Talk like right there. But if you use that drop down box where it says filter by type, at the top, you can actually, there's a type that's called Tech Talks. So so it's called Fast Track for Dynamics 365 Tech Talk videos. So this is a page that you can use to go easily find all of those videos, but you can also find them directly on the YouTube channel. The other way that you can find it is if you go to blogs, or I mean, yeah, you can use the new search at the top. So if you want to find like inventory, costing, or whatever, you can just do a search up top and it'll take you to like the search page. And then here you can even filter by forums or types. And I do believe that there is a forum specific to Tech Talks.
I see a Fast Track forum, but maybe that's not Tech Talks. Oh, this is forum blogs. I'm
Blogs.
searching in the wrong type.
Yeah, so forums is where you ask questions. Blogs is where you find the actual Tech Talks. So like the blogs, like there's always a blog that goes with every Tech Talk, and it gives you the link to the video, but it also gives you the link to be able to download like the PDF, or any other resources that go with it. So yeah, so this is like the blog for it.
The video is actually embedded in the page now. It was originally a link sending you out to the YouTube channel, but you can see here that I can play it within this page now.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a whole new experience. If you haven't seen it before, this is how you can look around and find those Tech Talks. But there's all sorts of other great content out on the community site. And if you're not already signed up for it, we do encourage you to do it. Get signed up, come out here. You can also subscribe to Tech Talks as well. And we've been getting a lot of questions lately about Tech Talks in general, because the subscribe process is a little bit different, and like the sign up and registration. So right now we don't have a registration for Tech Talks. We're looking to bring it back now that we've migrated to the Power Pages portal. What we're actually looking to implement behind the scenes, if you're curious, is we're going to be using Dynamics 365 marketing events. I love that. Jesse Clark says, who doesn't love costing? So
thanks for joining us, Jesse.
Yeah. So if you're looking for like the subscriptions,
subscribing to Tech Talks.
I got distracted there. Subscribing to the Tech Talks. You can still subscribe and you'll be put on our list. And what we do right now is we just send you the meeting invite like in an email. So before, you used to have to like register to get the meeting invite, but now we just send you the email, and attached to it is the ICS with the meeting invite, where you can add it to your calendar if you want to join for those particular Tech Talks. So
how do you get on the invite list? There's an AKA link for that, isn't there?
There is. I think it's aka.ms/subscribe Tech Talks, but we should test that first and make sure that that's correct.
Let me check it out. It might be Tech Talk subscribe.
The other way around.
Well, it didn't. Nope, it took me to Bing search. We will follow up and post it in the comments of this once we get that official link. But there is an AKA link that you can go to subscribe to the Tech Talks.
There is a button somewhere on the site too. I just don't recall how to navigate to it off the top of my head. We might be able to find it if we look around on the community site, but I'm going to AKAMS to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it hasn't migrated through the to the new site yet. Receive alerts for new Tech Talks. aka.ms/subscribe to Tech Talks. That's what it is.
That could be. There may not be buttons. I seem to think that it's on the Fast Track page because that's where it was before. It was like on the Fast Track page. You could get to the implementation portal. You could get to Tech Talks from there. So that's where I seem to think that it's located, but I don't really recall 100% off the top of my mind.
Oh, look there's Alejandra as well. One of our awesome folks who
it's just subscribe Tech Talk.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I was doing wrong was I was putting S on the end of Tech Talk.
Okay. That makes sense. Good. Okay.
So
we've got the definitive answer for Alejandra.
Thank you for joining us. She is like the Tech Talk, like behind the scenes queen. You know, so shout out to Alejandra. If you don't know Alejandra, you don't follow her on LinkedIn, check her out, follow her, give her a like, give her a thumbs up, give her a round of applause, whatever. The amount of work and effort that Alejandra puts in behind the scenes to make all of our Tech Talks work.
We would not have Tech Talks
we would not have Tech Talks if it was not for Alejandra. So I'm going to give Alejandra a round of applause right here live. Thank you, Alejandra, for all your work that you do to make Tech Talks work. And so that link is not actually right. It's just subscribe Tech Talks.
Well, let's go. I found a link on the site and I hovered over the link and that was what came up too. So I don't know if there it wouldn't be surprised. Oh no, that one is deactivated. Okay, so it's
I think you have to take the word "to" out. It's just subscribe Tech Talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Single, not plural.
Okay. We're gonna do this one more time.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, and that we did have I
just want to appreciate that our viewers listen to this banter.
Yeah,
where we're just
I can't believe they sit through this. But so we do. I think it's probably. You sort of said it, but I think it's important to acknowledge that we did have a pause of Tech Talks kind of during the summer while we changed platforms and producing strategies, right? So that means a lot of Tech Talks that I had on the calendar had been postponed and things like that. Keep an eye out. We're gonna start rescheduling that stuff soon. We've really been focusing on the business process guides, which I bet Rachel, you've got some updates on that you might want to share. But starting in September, October timeframe, I think we're gonna be ramping up a little bit more with Tech Talks again. If you've got a Tech Talk that you were waiting for, or one that's super top of your mind, let us know in the comments as well, and we can see what we can do to get those out for you. So talk to me about business process guides. What's going on?
Well, business process guides have been our V team has been super active. I mean, I know Ann, you and your crew have been hitting it hard on forecast to plan and plan to produce. But a lot of other groups have been hitting it hard too. So Project to Profit is another area where we've had a lot of progress. We have, I think, more than 20 now that are published of our L2s.
Let's go take a little look.
I think
have
we
to
should. Yeah,
start.
so like if it's your first time, if you're not familiar with the business process guides, we introduced this back in March and we published all of our L1s. So you can get to this by going to aka.ms/one guidance. It'll bring you to, I'll put that on the screen here. We've got a banner for it. That will bring you to the guidance hub, and then you can click on the end-to-end processes. And so there's a bunch of articles here that kind of explain what is the catalog, how does it work, etc. And then down the left-hand side on the navigation, you can actually see all the different end-to-end processes. And so we've started to publish all of those L2s underneath here.
Yeah, look at all these
and there's
articles.
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So August was a very busy month. Lots of new articles that have
Get
been
that plan
published.
to produce section.
It's so built out. We should click on one.
Oh boy.
Do you have
All
a
right.
favorite? Like, one that's near, like maybe one that like the flow chart was really hard. I know there was one that we worked on that was, costing. Perfect. Everybody
Like, are you
loves
surprised?
costing.
Track production costs. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an example. So the articles kind of start out with like an introduction explaining what it's all about, why it's important, that sort of thing. So you get like that introduction at the beginning and like which products it applies to. And then the stakeholders section is like who in your organization would be involved with this particular end-to-end process area or business process area. And then we put these diagrams in here, and if you click on them, they're actually, you can enlarge them on your screen. But the other thing is, like, all of the diagrams are available for download in the GitHub repo. We're a little bit behind on that, so this one may not be there. So we're kind of like 2 to 3 weeks behind on getting them into GitHub because there's a different process to make them downloadable that we have to follow. But all of the graphics that we're creating in these process flows, the source diagrams, because they're just like PNGs or whatever here on the site, but the source graphics for those are available for download over in the GitHub repo for the Guidance Hub, which I think is super cool because then you can download all of them and you can start to edit and tweak them for your business. And this is an L2, so it doesn't get into like the swim lanes and all of that. But once we get to L3s, which is what we're going to focus on after we're done with all these L2s, there'll be a lot more diagrams coming with those swim lanes. But we describe the process flow diagrams in plain text so you can kind of understand what that flow is. And then we kind of walk through what the benefits are and next steps and give you a bunch of other resources where you can learn more about each one of them. So I think that's super cool personally. I mean, I'm so proud of all the work that has been done here by the entire team to get these articles out there. So
shout out to Alejandra again for helping us write this article in addition to being the Tech Talk queen.
Yeah, so we have got such an amazing team of people, and we're going to be doing a Tech Talk soon on how you can contribute to this and help add to it and write more articles. So definitely keep an eye out for that Tech Talk because we want your help. We want to grow this. We want to make this be a library of business processes for everyone. And there's hundreds and hundreds of business processes and use cases, and patterns. Like there's thousands of them when you get down to that level 4. And the only way we're going to get this to where we want it to be is if the whole community gets involved. So I think, check it out, subscribe to it. You can get the RSS feed on Learn if you didn't know that. So you can hear about all the new articles.
And you can give us feedback directly within the docs articles. I don't think I pointed to it when I was sharing my screen, but if you think we did something wrong or you think we could reword or add something to an article that we did publish, give us the feedback. We want to hear from you all. I think that everybody's experience collectively is going to make this way more useful for individuals. So
well, and I think too, like we need people to like articles and give us if it's good and it's helpful and you're using it, let us know, because in order for us to keep getting the budget and availability for our team to continue to work on it internally, we need to hear that positive feedback. And if it's going well, let us know. If it's not going well, let us know so we can change and make it be useful for everyone.
Totally.
Should we change topics again?
No, I had one more thing, and I can't remember what it
Okay.
was. Oh, I think so. We had a call about the business process guides earlier today, and I thought it was really interesting. This a topic came up for discussion. Um, so when we've talked about business process guides, we've talked about how it's inclusive of all of the BizApps products, Microsoft BizApp products.
Yeah.
But I think we're kind of with the L2s, we're getting to a point where particular processes like case to resolution, project to profit, um,
Service
forecast
to
to
cash
plan,
was another
and
one.
even like a lot of our processes, service to cash, run across multiple Microsoft products, namely products that are on CE and products that are on the F&O platform. And um, because those products also have separate histories, they have oftentimes overlapping functionality. So if you're somebody who kind of works in more of like an enterprise architecture space and you've got like thoughts and opinions, I would love to hear, kind of like how do you approach making recommendations between one tool, the other tool? Where do you see kind of the most conversation that goes on in these sort of overlapping processes? Because I think that's one of the places where we stand to provide a lot of value is by settling on best practice recommendations for implementing all of our apps together to support business processes. So I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
something I
or
thought
when
was
to
really
select
interesting.
one versus the other, right?
Right.
There's
Yeah, like
definitely the better together, but there's also one versus the other.
sometimes you
Like,
don't both. Yeah.
yeah, because like if we take service,
I think we lost Rachel a little bit. So we'll give her a second to see if we can get her back real quick. If you've got a good joke, put one in the chat. Jesse, if you're still watching, I'm sure you've got millions. But to keep going on about like cross product or a single product, we were talking this morning about case management or case to resolution, and service to cash has a really kind of strong foundation in um, thanks, Jesse. Has a strong foundation in customer service, right? Customer service is a best of breed app to do the case to resolution process, but finance and operations has case management as a tool within the system. Oh, thank God. She's back.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there, but my computer decided it did not like me anymore. So,
Oh, I asked people to send jokes if they had one. So thanks, Mark, for saying I have a pin that writes underwater. It writes a lot of other words too.
I love that. Well,
That's
Jesse
wonderful.
wrote a joke too.
Well, he just
Someone in
said
the
that.
world. Wait, Rachel.
Yeah. So
That's I don't know.
that's how I feel about it when people say that they don't like costing. I actually think I've made a lot of friends just about liking costing. Like that has been the foundation. I mean, that's why you and I are friends, right? Like that was the first
Yeah,
thing we ever talked about.
a
So
common desire to discuss all things costing.
yeah. So anyway, we were talking about I kind of I talked about kind of how customer service is like definitely best of breed for the case to resolution process, like handling customer cases and complaints and kind of resolving that. Um, but we have this whole case management tool in F&O, and the conversation we were having this morning was kind of how do we document, like articulate the cases where you use one or the other to support it, right? Like we were talking about product recall is a process that largely happens within F&O. It might initiate in customer service, but inside of F&O is where you do your product management. It's where you're going to be able to see kind of the item trace all the way through. You were talking about HR cases, so that's going to be an F&O. So there's,
Yeah.
it's kind of like being able to articulate the different scenarios that process happens and when you want to use one product versus the other product to support the process.
Yeah.
So
I,
I do think people who have kind of implemented both CE and F&O are those people that I want to hear from, kind of what they've seen, like what their experience has been with that.
for sure. I'd love to get, some opinions on this too, because it was a very interesting conversation about what's the right approach. Like, should we document it? And like, my vote is we should document it. And if there's cases when you should and should not use it, like that should be part of the documentation. But like, at what level of detail do we document it? And do we do that at L2? Do we do that at L3? Like, what makes the most sense?
Yeah.
And I think like some of these decisions go back to like the sales cycle, right? So it's like when we're selling, how do we decide which ones we're going to sell? And what you sell kind of dictates what you
what the solution scope can be. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but like pre-sales architects, right? I think like some of this content, especially at L1 and L2, should really like, it's like, maybe we need to think about like the audience of who's reading and using which level of documentation, and should we tailor L2s to the pre-sales architect and L3s are more to the implementation, functional consultants, solution architects, like, or maybe there needs to be two separate documents, like articles, like one how to sell it and one on how to implement it. But
well, there's this whole organization at Microsoft that helps partners sell Dynamics, and I think if we go down that route, I mean, I get your point, right? Because the original sales process defines the potential solution scope, and you don't want to be halfway through an implementation when you figure out you actually need a different product. But I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think it's worth thinking about, for sure. But I definitely think we start with the scenarios and where they apply. And I don't know, I personally feel like it's maybe L2, L3, maybe a note in the L2, but L3 is more of a like, here's how you start doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, like to Anne's point, like if there's people out there that you've kind of got some of that experience, like, look over a couple of our L2s that are already published out there and give us your feedback. Let us know. And how do you handle it?
Definitely. All right, Rachel, we've got like 1.5 minutes left. So
should we just call it, since I've like now joined from my cell phone and
sure.
After my computer decided that it didn't want to participate anymore?
Yeah, I think I'll leave it at, it's been fun talking about a lot of things that apparently are top of our minds today, but in terms of topics that you want us to talk about going forward, please leave us notes in the chat. We can bring on members of the product team, other members of Fast Track. We can talk to people in the community. If you want to be a guest on our show, let us know.
Reach out, let us know.
Yeah, we're, we're looking to make content that's relevant and interesting to you guys, as well as talk about stuff that's interesting to us. So thank you so much to everybody who tuned in today. We really appreciate it, and we would love your feedback.
Yeah.
So, I
think that's it for Top of Mind today. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.